The sky over New Mexico remained clear that night as Dr. Olivia Bennett worked alone at the Arecibo Observatory. Most of her colleagues had gone home hours ago, but something kept her eyes glued to the data streaming across her monitors. For weeks, she'd been tracking unusual patterns from the outer edges of the solar system. Tonight, those patterns changed. "What are you?" she whispered, adjusting her glasses as she leaned closer to the screen. The signal pulsed in regular intervals, nothing like the random cosmic noise she normally studied. Her heart raced as she ran the analysis program again. The result was the same. This was no natural phenomenon. This was a transmission. She reached for her phone with shaking hands and called her supervisor. "Sir, I think you need to see this," she said, her voice barely steady. "I believe we're receiving a signal from beyond Neptune. And it's structured." Within hours, the quiet observatory transformed into a hub of frantic activity. Government officials arrived in unmarked cars. Military personnel established a perimeter. News vans gathered outside the gates, though no one yet knew what drew them there. Captain John Morgan arrived by helicopter the next morning. His weathered face showed little emotion as Dr. Bennett explained her findings, but his eyes revealed intense focus. "You're certain these aren't echoes from our own transmissions?" he asked. "Positive," she replied. "The patterns are unlike anything in our records, and they're coming from a position where we have no active spacecraft." Morgan nodded, his military bearing softened slightly by scientific curiosity. "What's your assessment, Doctor? What are we dealing with?" Before she could answer, her assistant burst into the room. "Dr. Bennett, the signal changed. It's broadcasting images now." They rushed to the main lab where dozens of scientists huddled around screens. The images were grainy and strange, massive structures against the blackness of space. Ships, hundreds of them. "My God," Morgan whispered. Phones rang across the room as similar reports came in from observatories worldwide. Military bases across the planet raised their alert levels. News networks began reporting on unusual astronomical observations, causing public speculation to spiral. Dr. Bennett worked without rest, analyzing the growing stream of data. By the third day, she made a breakthrough. "These aren't attack plans," she announced to the crowded command center that had been established. "These are technical schematics, and I believe they're distress signals." Morgan looked skeptical. "You're saying they need help?" "Yes. Look at these power signatures. They're fluctuating. And these sections here show life support systems with critical failures." Dr. Alan Whitfield, a linguist brought in to study the transmissions, backed her theory. "The repetition patterns are consistent with emergency broadcasts. They're not threatening. They're pleading." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. An alien fleet, advanced enough for interstellar travel, was asking humans for help. President Harris addressed the nation that evening, confirming the existence of extraterrestrial contact and assuring the public that all evidence suggested the visitors posed no threat. "We face a moment unprecedented in human history," she said, "an opportunity to extend the hand of friendship across the stars." As dawn broke the next day, Dr. Bennett stood beside Captain Morgan on the observatory roof, watching the sunrise. "They could have gone anywhere," she said quietly. "Why us?" Morgan's expression remained unreadable. "Maybe we were just the closest option. Or maybe they saw something in us we don't see in ourselves," she replied. The captain almost smiled. "Well, Doctor, I hope you're right. Because in 3 days, we ship out to meet them. And you're coming with us." Below them, the facility buzzed with preparation as humanity began its first mission to save beings from another world. The journey to meet the alien fleet took 6 days aboard the hastily prepared spacecraft Endeavour. Dr. Bennett spent most of her time hunched over computers with Dr. Whitfield, working to understand the alien language. The rest of the crew, a mix of scientists, engineers, and military personnel, prepared for first contact. "I think I'm getting somewhere," Dr. Whitfield said on the 5th day. He pointed to patterns on his screen. Their language uses mathematical principles as a foundation. Each symbol represents both a concept and a numerical value. Dr. Bennett nodded excitedly. That's why their distress call used geometric patterns. They were giving us a universal language. Captain Morgan joined them, his face tired from endless strategy meetings. Can you communicate with them yet? Basic concepts only, Dr. Whitfield replied. But it's enough to establish peaceful intentions. As they approached the coordinates, the ship fell silent. Through the viewports, they saw them. Enormous vessels stretching for miles, their designs unlike anything humans had imagined. The alien ships formed a loose cluster, some showing visible damage to their hulls. There must be hundreds, whispered engineer Sam Rodriguez, his tools forgotten in his hands. The Endeavor's communication system activated, displaying strange symbols across the screen. Dr. Whitfield typed rapidly, sending their prepared greeting. They're responding, he said. They're thanking us for coming. The alien ship nearest to them opened what appeared to be a docking bay. Captain Morgan looked at his crew. This is it. First contact team, prepare for boarding. Dr. Bennett, Dr. Whitfield, Rodriguez, and 3 security officers joined Morgan in the airlock. Their hearts pounded as the connection sealed with the alien vessel. The door opened to reveal a corridor bathed in soft blue light. The air smelled faintly of cinnamon and salt. At the end of the passage stood 3 figures. The aliens were tall and slender, with 4 arms and smooth skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Their eyes, 3 per face, blinked independently. We are Xelrani, one said through a device on its chest. You come. Help. Dr. Whitfield stepped forward. Yes, we are humans from Earth. We received your distress call. The alien skin rippled with blue patterns. Gratitude. Many cycles we drift. Systems fail. Children born who never see homeworld. Over the next hours, the humans learned the Xelrani's story. They were a generation fleet, 50,000 individuals who left their home system centuries ago when their sun became unstable. Their engines had failed during the long journey between stars, leaving them stranded. Why didn't you contact us earlier? Dr. Bennett asked. The aliens' colors darkened. Observe your world. Wars. Primitive technology. Thought you could not help. Then what changed? Captain Morgan asked. No choice remained. Our systems fail. Soon, no life support. We saw. Your species solves problems differently. Rodriguez examined the technical data that Xelrani provided. Their technology is incredible, biological and mechanical systems working together. But their engineering approach is so different from ours. Dr. Bennett realized what he meant. They think in terms of perfect solutions. They don't improvise like we do. That evening, the human team reported back to Earth. President Harris called an emergency United Nations session. Within days, the United Rescue Initiative formed, a global effort to save the stranded aliens. Engineer Kate Hudson, back on Earth, proposed the audacious plan. Their engines are failing because of radiation damage to key components. We can't replicate their technology exactly, but we can adapt our nuclear engineering principles to repair them. When the plan was transmitted to the Xelrani, their response was immediate. Their skin flashed with patterns of bright yellow, an emotion the humans couldn't yet interpret. You believe this possible? The Xelrani leader asked. Captain Morgan nodded. We humans are good at making impossible things work. It's what we do best. The Xelrani's colors shifted to a deep purple. Then we place our lives in your hands. The United Rescue Initiative transformed from concept to reality in just 2 weeks. Engineers from every nation worked around the clock, sharing knowledge that had been jealously guarded for decades. Private companies donated resources and technology. Military forces coordinated logistics on a scale not seen since World War I. At the center of this storm stood engineer Kate Hudson, her red hair often tied in a messy bun as she directed teams across the globe. Her plan required precise execution. They would build specialized repair ships capable of docking with the alien vessels to install hybrid human Sulrani technology. "We need to think like mechanics, not theorists," she told her team during a late-night session. That Sulrani built beautiful engines but never planned for field repairs. "We have to be the space mechanics they never needed until now." Kate's plan faced constant challenges. Some officials worried about sharing technology with aliens. Others questioned if Earth should deplete its resources for strangers. Religious groups debated the theological implications of extraterrestrial life. Through it all, President Harris maintained support for the mission. "This is humanity's first chance to join something greater than ourselves," she said in an address that reached billions. "We will not be remembered for our fears, but for our courage." Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, Dr. Bennett and her team continued their work. They lived in converted quarters, adjusting to the Sulrani's lighter gravity and longer days. Every meal was a new experience, as human and alien nutritionists worked out compatible foods. Captain Morgan established a command center where he coordinated with Earth. "We need the first repair ship here within 30 days, he told Kate during a video conference. "The life support on the nursery vessel is failing faster than predicted." "The Horizon will launch in 3 days, Kate promised. "We've stripped it down to basics to make room for repair equipment." Dr. Whitfield made breakthroughs daily in understanding the Sulrani language. He discovered they communicated not just with words, but with color patterns across their skin, a visual language that expressed emotions and nuance. "They're afraid," he told Dr. Bennett after meeting with a group of Sulrani scientists. "They've been drifting for so long, they'd forgotten how to hope." The Sulrani nursery vessel contained 5,000 children. Their quarters were filled with art depicting worlds they had never seen and might never reach. When Dr. Bennett visited, the children's skin flickered with curious patterns of green and gold. "You come from planet with water and mountains?" one child asked her. "Yes," she replied, "with oceans and forests and cities." "Will we see it?" She hesitated before answering. "We're going to try our best to make that happen." Back on Earth, the Horizon underwent final preparations. Engineer Sam Rodriguez led the technical team that would attempt the repairs. He had been training nonstop in a simulator designed to mimic Sulrani systems. "The challenge isn't just technical," he explained to his team. "We're fixing technology we barely understand, in spacesuits, communicating with aliens, with 50,000 lives at stake." A young engineer raised her hand. "So just another day at the office, right?" The tension broke as laughter filled the room. Sam smiled. "That's exactly the attitude we need." The night before launch, Kate Hudson stood on the observation deck overlooking the horizon. The ship bristled with equipment, looking nothing like the sleek vessels in science fiction movies. It was ugly, practical, and humanity's best hope for success. Captain Lee Chen joined her, his uniform crisp despite the late hour. "Ready to make history?" he asked. Kate nodded. "Just ready to help people who need it. Doesn't matter if they're from Earth or a million miles away." As dawn broke, the Horizon lifted off from Kennedy Space Center. Millions watched worldwide as the engines burned against the morning sky, carrying humanity's promise to a stranded people among the stars. The Horizon's journey through space felt endless to its crew of 30 specialists. 6 weeks of travel gave them plenty of time to prepare and to worry. Engineer Sam Rodriguez spent most days in the ship's makeshift lab, studying the Sulrani engine schematics that Dr. Bennett had sent back to Earth. "Something's not right," he muttered on their 4th week in transit. He rubbed his tired eyes and called over to Dr. Lily Watson, their physicist. "These power calculations don't make sense for the repair plan we developed," he said, pointing to his screen. "If we try to reconnect their main drive using our materials as planned, we'll cause a cascade failure." Lily frowned as she examined his work. "You're right. The interaction between our metals and their biomechanical systems will create unexpected reactions." She looked up, alarmed. This could have been catastrophic. Captain Chen called an emergency meeting in the mess hall that evening. The crew gathered around tables still sticky with the remains of dinner as Sam explained the problem. "We need to completely revise our approach," he concluded. "The good news is, I think we can make it work with what we brought. The bad news is, we have 2 weeks to develop an entirely new repair strategy." The specialists broke into teams, working around the clock. Sleep became optional as engineers argued with physicists, while materials scientists tested new combinations in the lab. Coffee consumption reached record levels. On the Tselrani flagship, Dr. Bennett continued her research. She spent hours each day with the ship's historian, learning about their culture through records spanning centuries. The Tselrani had been travelers for so long that many had never known a planetary home. "Your people adapt so quickly," the historian told her, skin shifting to a thoughtful blue-green. "Tselrani seek perfection before action. Humans act, then improve." "Neither approach is perfect," Dr. Bennett replied. "But together, maybe they complement each other." Captain Morgan's daily reports to Earth became increasingly urgent as more systems on the alien fleet showed signs of failure. "We're watching a slow-motion disaster," he told President Harris during a secure transmission. "If the Horizon's mission fails, we're looking at 50,000 deaths." As the Horizon approached the fleet, Engineer Rodriguez finally tested a solution that worked. Using Earth metals as conductors rather than replacements, they could bypass the damaged sections of the alien engines and restore functionality. "It's not elegant," he admitted to Captain Chen. "It's like fixing a quantum computer with duct tape and copper wire. But it should work." The crew's mood lightened as they prepared for arrival. Many spent their free time on the observation deck, watching as the distant specks of light grew into recognizable ships. For the first time in human history, people were traveling to meet aliens not as explorers or soldiers, but as mechanics and helpers. Petty Officer Vanessa Miller operated the communications station when they received their first direct message from the fleet. "Horizon approaching, Tselrani space. Welcome, human friends." The entire bridge crew fell silent as the message played. For some, this was the moment the mission became real. Their first sight of the Tselrani fleet left them speechless. Hundreds of massive ships clustered together, their designs organic and flowing, like sea creatures suspended in the void. Some were clearly damaged, with dark sections where power had failed. The largest ship, the flagship where Dr. Bennett and Captain Morgan waited, activated a guiding light to direct them to a docking port. "All hands prepare for docking procedures," Captain Chen announced over the intercom. "Repair teams, stand by for immediate deployment. First contact team to the airlock." As the Horizon carefully maneuvered toward the enormous alien vessel, Sam Rodriguez stood at a viewport, tools ready. "We came all this way," he said quietly to Lily beside him. "Now we just have to perform a miracle." The ships connected with a gentle shudder. Humanity's rescue mission had reached its critical phase. The airlock hissed open, revealing Dr. Bennett and Captain Morgan waiting with 3 Tselrani officials. Their skin rippled with welcome patterns of gold and blue as the Horizon crew stepped aboard. "Engineer Rodriguez," Dr. Bennett said with evident relief. "I've never been so happy to see someone in my life." Sam nodded, taking in the alien architecture around him. The walls seemed alive, pulsing gently with bioluminescent light. "The repairs look more complicated than we thought. But we brought solutions." The Tselrani established a base for the humans in an unused section of the flagship. Temporary walls were grown overnight to create spaces with Earth-normal gravity and air composition. The room that became their command center buzzed with activity as equipment was unpacked and installed. Captain Chen coordinated with Captain Morgan, while Engineer Rodriguez met with his Tselrani counterpart, a 4-armed specialist named Kethala, whose skin remained a steady, focused purple. "Your engines are amazing," Sam told Kethala as they examined holographic models. "The integration of biological components with mechanical systems is unlike anything we've achieved." Kethela's skin flashed briefly with modest yellow. Yet we drift powerless while you cross stars to aid us. Perhaps simpler technology has advantages. Their work together revealed cultural differences that went beyond biology. When faced with a problem, the Xelrani sought perfect, elegant solutions, while humans looked for what would work right now, even if it was messy. No, no, Sam said during one heated discussion. We don't need to redesign the entire power distribution system. We just need to bypass the damaged sections. Cathella's skin darkened with confusion. But the solution lacks elegance. It will require constant maintenance. Sometimes ugly solutions keep you alive, Sam replied. Perfect solutions can take too long. Dr. Bennett continued her cultural research, spending time with Xelrani families. She learned they were communal creatures who shared child-rearing duties among large extended groups. Their art focused on mathematical patterns that humans found hypnotically beautiful. During her third week aboard, Dr. Bennett was invited to a memory ceremony where elders shared stories of their ancestral homeworld. As they spoke, their skin displayed vivid scenes that told as much as their words. We left because we had to, one elder said, skin showing images of a dying star. But we never meant to become eternal wanderers. Later that night, Dr. Bennett reviewed her notes when an alarm blared through the ship. Captain Morgan burst into her quarters. Colony Ship 3 just lost primary life support, he said grimly. 2,000 Xelrani need evacuation immediately. The next 12 hours became a desperate race. Xelrani evacuation pods shuttled between vessels while humans helped coordinate the effort. The colony ship's corridors grew cold as systems failed one by one. Dr. Whitfield worked with Xelrani children, keeping them calm as they waited for transport. He taught them Earth children's games while their skin flickered with nervous patterns. In the midst of crisis, something unexpected happened. Humans and Xelrani stopped seeing each other as alien. They became simply people working together against disaster. When the last evacu reached safety, Captain Chen found Sam Rodriguez sitting exhausted on the floor of the docking bay. You should see their faces when we solve problems, Sam said quietly. It's like we're performing magic. But it's just human ingenuity, Chen finished. The very thing they lack. That evening, Dr. Bennett was summoned to meet with the Xelrani High Council. The elder's skin showed serious patterns as they welcomed her. We must share difficult knowledge, the lead counselor said. Our fleet did not suffer random failure. We were attacked. The council chamber's lights dimmed as a hologram appeared, showing sleek, predatory ships. The Vraxen hunt us, the counselor continued. They destroy all spacefaring species they encounter. We flood them for generations, hoping they would not follow. Dr. Bennett felt cold dread. And now, our sensors detect their scout ships approaching your solar system. They come not just for us, but now for Earth as well. Dr. Bennett rushed the news about the approaching Vraxen to Captain Morgan and Captain Chen. Within hours, they established a secure communication link with Earth. President Harris's face looked grave on the screen as she listened to their report. How much time do we have? She asked. The Xelrani estimate 3 weeks before the Vraxen scout ships reach our outer solar system, Captain Morgan replied. Their main fleet would follow a month later. Engineer Rodriguez spoke up from the back of the room. Madam President, we need to accelerate our repair timeline. If we can get the Xelrani fleet operational, we'll have their technology on our side. The repair efforts shifted into an even higher gear. Humans and Xelrani worked side by side, no longer separated by cultural barriers. Sam Rodriguez and Cathalla led mixed teams that spread throughout the damaged vessels, focusing first on the massive engine cores that powered the fleet. The radiation levels are higher than we expected, Sam told Cathalla, as they examined the primary drive chamber of the flagship. The enormous room hummed with dormant energy. Conduits the size of subway tunnels ran in all directions, many showing signs of damage. We cannot send living workers into those sections, Cathalla replied, skin flashing with concern. Sam smiled. That's why we brought robots. Sometimes primitive technology has advantages. The repair robots were deployed into the most dangerous areas, controlled remotely by human operators. They cut away damaged components and installed the hybrid systems that Sam's team had designed. The work was delicate and dangerous. Any mistake could trigger catastrophic energy releases. On the 5th day of repairs, disaster struck. A power surge hit unexpectedly, while a team worked in the secondary engine room of a large colony ship. The explosion shook the entire vessel, sending debris flying throughout the compartment. 3 humans and 2 Selreni were badly injured. Dr. Bennett joined the medical team that rushed to help. They found Sam Rodriguez among the wounded, a metal shard embedded in his shoulder. The power coupling was more damaged than we thought, he gasped as they treated him. But I know how to fix it now. Despite his injury, Sam refused to rest for more than a few hours. The next day, he directed repairs from the medical bay, his arm in a sling as he studied the schematics. We need to use earth metals for the connection points, he insisted to Cathala. Your biomaterials can't handle the power surges, but our copper alloys can absorb the feedback. Such materials are not in our design parameters, Cathala objected. That's exactly the point, Sam replied. The Vraxen damaged your systems because they knew exactly how they worked. Our hybrid solution will be something they've never seen before. Captain Morgan received daily updates from Earth. Warships from nations around the world were gathering to form a defensive line. Scientists were analyzing Selrani data about Vraxen weapons, looking for weaknesses. Humanity was preparing for its first interstellar war. As the second week of repairs continued, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Lily Watson discovered that common Earth aluminum, when treated with certain Selrani bioenzymes, created a superconducting material perfect for repairing the alien dry systems. It's better than their original components, she explained excitedly, and we can manufacture it here using materials from both our worlds. The discovery accelerated their progress dramatically. By the end of the second week, half the fleet's engines were operational again. The Selrani vessels glowed with renewed energy as systems came back online. San Rodriguez, still recovering from his injuries, stood with Dr. Bennett on an observation deck as they watched the lights of a newly repaired ship brighten. We're going to make it, he said quietly. Dr. Bennett wasn't so sure. We might fix their ships in time. But the Vraxen are still coming. This is just the beginning. On Earth, military satellites detected the first signals of the approaching Vraxen scout ships. They would reach Neptune's orbit in just 5 days. The repair efforts entered their final phase as the Vraxen scout ships crossed the orbit of Neptune. On Earth, military forces stood ready. In space, the combined human-Selrani teams worked without rest. Engine core stabilizing, reported Cathala, her skin glowing with cautious blue hope as she monitored the flagship's power systems. Energy output at 87% capacity. Sam Rodriguez nodded with satisfaction. Despite his bandaged shoulder, he had barely slept in days. That's enough. We don't need perfect, we need working. Throughout the vast Selrani fleet, similar scenes played out as systems returned to life. Lights brightened in previously dark sections. Life support strengthened. Propulsion systems hummed with renewed energy. Dr. Bennett joined Captain Morgan on the flagship's bridge, where a holographic display showed the approaching Vraxen vessels. The enemy ships looked predatory, angular and dark against the void of space. They're faster than we predicted, Morgan said grimly. Earth's defensive fleet is moving to intercept, but they're outmatched in technology. President Harris appeared on the communication screen. The United Nations Security Council has authorized full military engagement, but our analysts give us poor odds against their weapons. The Selrani High Council convened an emergency session with the human leadership. Elder Vexil, the council leader, addressed the humans with solemn dignity. You have saved our people when we thought all hope lost, the elder said, skin rippling with formal patterns of deep purple. Now we must decide. Flee to safety, or stand with Earth against our common enemy. Captain Morgan stepped forward. We understand if you choose to leave. Your people have suffered enough." A moment of silence filled the chamber. Then, one by one, the Selrani council members' skin shifted to a unified color, a vibrant red that humans had never seen them display before. "This color represents our most sacred commitment," Vexil explained. "For the first time in generations, the Selrani will fight rather than flee. Earth stood for us. We stand for Earth." Within hours, the repaired Selrani vessels moved into defensive positions around the planet. Their biomechanical weapons, dormant for centuries, came online. Human military ships joined the formation, creating a unified defense grid. On the flagship, now renamed Alliance, Sam worked with Kethela to activate the ship's most powerful systems. "We've modified your shield generators with our materials," Sam explained to the Selrani bridge crew. "The hybrid technology should be invisible to Vraxan scanning systems." The Vraxan scouts approached Mars orbit when they first detected the waiting defense fleet. Their communications, intercepted and translated by Dr. Whitfield, revealed their surprise. "They're calling for reinforcements," Dr. Whitfield reported. They didn't expect the Selrani fleet to be operational. The first engagement was brief but decisive. The Vraxan scouts, confronted with the combined fleet, attempted to retreat. 2 were disabled by Selrani weapons, while a third escaped toward deep space. "They'll be back with their main fleet," Captain Morgan warned. This was just the beginning. In the days that followed, an extraordinary development took place. The Selrani High Council met with Earth's United Nations in the first formal diplomatic exchange between 2 intelligent species. The result was the Terran-Selrani Mutual Defense Treaty, signed aboard the Alliance flagship. Dr. Bennett watched the ceremony with tears in her eyes. "When we answered their distress call, I never imagined this outcome." Sam nodded. "We came to save them, but they might end up saving us too." The treaty included technological exchange provisions that would advance Earth sciences by centuries. Already, Selrani biomedical techniques were being adapted to treat human diseases. In return, humans taught the Selrani their approaches to engineering, problem-solving, and adaptation. 1 month after the first encounter, long-range sensors detected the Vraxan main fleet changing course, bypassing the Sol system entirely. The unexpected alliance of 2 species had given them pause. On the observation deck of the Alliance, Dr. Bennett stood with Captain Morgan, watching Earth rotate slowly below them. Several Selrani ships moved in graceful formation nearby, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. "What happens now?" she asked. Morgan smiled. "Now, we explore the stars together, not as rescuers and rescued, but as equals." Beside them, a young Selrani child pressed small hands against the viewport, skin flickering with excitement as she saw Earth for the first time. Dr. Bennett thought of the alien art she had seen, images of worlds that Selrani had only dreamed of visiting. Now those dreams could become reality, and humanity's oldest dream, that we are not alone in the universe, had already come true.